This is Investment Tanking, your guide to the premium tanks. This time taking a look at the AT-15a, British tank destroyer at tier 7. Let's not dance around the fact here, it is very slow. Its top speed is only 20 km an hour forwards and only 10 km an hour backwards, but it does share that with the rest of their non-premium line for the British turretless tank destroyers. It's not the end of the world. It's a piece of advice: if you want to play that line or this premium, choose a side of the battle where you know there will be a lot of enemy tanks, stick with it and brawl your way in. You are in a very aggressive tank destroyer and you should make use of all that lovely armor you're getting. If you can, try pay attention to the amount of bounces I can get from those tank destroyers on the left before they move in close. It is phenomenal. That is mostly due to the 228.6mm of frontal armor, 152.4 of side, and 101.6 rear, so you have very strong rear armor still. That is all very well angled. There are only a few weak spots, being the flat faces on the front, where you will see me get penned in a moment. You've also got the tumors and turrets and cupolas on the top of the tank, which don't really do anything in the game, because they haven't got the multi-gun mechanics working, but bear in mind they are significantly weaker than the front of your armor. The armament is of course the standard 17 pounder of the British. That's 150 damage with 171 AP penetration, 239 APCR penetration and 38 high explosive. You should never really be using the high explosive at all. It rarely works, even against light tanks. It's just awful. The redeeming features of this tank are of course its gun, soft stats and elevation and such. You can get -10 +10, so you can go over the hills and look up, unlike most Japanese tanks. You get 70 rounds of ammunition, so you don't need to be afraid of wasting some shots there. You also get 2092, without rammer or vents anything, damage per minute, and that is very good for a tank destroyer of this tier. You can just penetrate and whittle things down from top very quickly. If some of you veterans can remember, it didn't actually used to be special matchmaking like it is now. Currently it only sees tiers 7 to 8, whereas when I first got it, it used to go up to tier 9. Also, that's the first time I've ever had my ammo rack damaged in this tank. Never knew. Back to the gun. We have 1.9 seconds aim time, which is brilliant, and 0.32 accuracy, which is still very good and accurate for its tier. Reload time without rammer or vents is 4.3 seconds, which you can get down. Just for comparison, if you use a tier 8 AT-15 with this gun, you get around a 3.6 second reload without rammers or vents or anything. So it still stands up to its tier 8 counterparts if they both have the same gun. It also had its hit points buffed recently, and it now has 1050 if I remember correctly. It used to have around 700 or something, and it just died so often. A very viable tactic to try and maximise your armor potential would be to angle sort of sideways. There we go, getting penetrated in the front there. You have 25 degrees traverse either side of your gun, which lets you maximise your armor effectiveness to around 300 to 400 in some cases on the front, which is just phenomenal. The AT-15a has the same engine power as its tier 8 counterpart, the AT-15, with 650 horsepower, but is somehow 5 tons heavier. No idea how that works. As a result, it only gets an exact ratio of 10 horsepower per ton, which isn't too good against if you compare it to the AT-7 with 11.21, with even less engine power, or the AT-15's 10.75. It makes up for this in its brilliant track traverse, which, since you don't have a turret, you're going to be using it a lot, of 24 degrees a second. That's 4 more than a tier 8, and 2 more than the other tier 7. Another slight weakness of this tank is that it is kind of like a tinderbox. The engine has a 20% chance of being set on fire. But if you're letting them get behind you and shoot your engine, you're doing this tank wrong. Play it like a claymore, front towards enemy. Also, ammo rack. Oh, so good to watch. This is a rarely played tank by many people, making it a very good snap padding tank. According to some of the WAD Labs websites, it takes around 10,000 credits a game in average hands, although at the end of this one it got near 70,000 profit. That's because it was a very good game. If you like British TDs, this is a very good tank to have and is a worthwhile spend in your garage. It's a great pub stomper, earns you tons of credits, and it will probably be removed from the in-game store soon due to having limited matchmaking. Other than that, spend more gold and keep tanking.